What's up, lifers? Welcome to a special edition of Mamba for Life.
Hi, my name is Michael Johnson. I'm a ballroom dance professional, a life coach, and a peak performance expert. I'm part of a group of motivated people who are dedicated to attaining emotional mastery and unlocking our full potential. We've realized life is a dance. The ups and downs can spin you out of your mind, but it's time to take back control. It's time to become a lifer. We don't believe others are responsible for how we feel. In fact, we don't believe anyone can make us feel anything. We are a new breed of overachievers. Emotional mastery is our journey, and unlocking our full potential is the key. Welcome to the journey. We are lifers, and this is Majic for Life.
What's up, lifers? Michael Johnson here with the Magic for Life podcast. And like I said, today's edition is going to be titled Mamba for Life. And for those of you that haven't heard, one of the greats in basketball passed away Sunday, and that was Kobe Bryant. And for so many people, it's sort of been sobering, and I'm going to do my best to get through this podcast without too many tears. I'm the emotions guy, and so many times we're talking about being happy and being able to control and manage and execute your emotions. And so I'll start off by saying, listen, I don't mind being sad, right? So I think a lot of times when we talk about emotions, we talk about the light side emotions, not the dark side emotions. We talk about wanting to be happy and wanting it all to be fine, calm, and peaceful and blissful. And it's okay to be sad. And a lot of times people out there talk about it as if, sadness was something you want to avoid, or maybe you learn how not to do. And it's important to realize that sadness is part of what makes us human. It's part of what fuels our world. So today, I wanted to talk a little bit about Kobe. And I didn't know him personally, although I felt like I did, as I'm sure millions of people did, for his contributions, even just his contributions on the floor playing basketball. I think people felt like they knew him, and like so many of our superstars. And you hear now, you see it all over the news and all over Instagram and everywhere. You hear Mamba mentality, and you hear if the night before I was watching LeBron James and the Lakers play, they got blown out essentially, and LeBron was passing Kobe's all-time leading scorer record, and on his shoes he wrote Mamba for Life. And Kobe was about that. He was about the family of it. And as soon as LeBron came into the game and into the Lakers organization, and even before then, Kobe was a massive influence to LeBron James. And so how cool is that for LeBron? His last text from Kobe was congratulating him on passing him for the all-time leading scorers. Um, I wanted to just share, sometimes people think that it's bandwagon stuff, but, I've been a Laker for life, and, it's just how it's been. I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the Lakers had vacation homes in Albuquerque because it was a place to have a home, I guess. Uh, Michael Cooper started a basketball camp there. And Michael Cooper was at the time on the championship Laker team with Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the famous Laker team. And so Albuquerque was sort of a feeder area for the Lakers. We were all Lakers fans. And from an early age, from 8 years old, I think I fell in love with basketball. That was what I was going to do. That was my path. And every summer I'd go to the Lakers, to Michael Cooper's Lakers basketball camp. We got to meet all of the greats. And every summer we'd do that. We'd do that, Lakers basketball camp, and it was part of my upbringing. I was a Laker through and through. Um, Loved Magic Johnson, and because of it, and then because of my love for the Lakers, my initials are MAJ, and so I put that on my stuff because there was another Michael on my basketball team, and so people started calling me Magic Johnson as it not as a compliment. Actually, it wasn't that good. Right. But they would tease me and go, "Oh, Magic Johnson," because I'd have it on my bag or on any of my warm ups or anything. I'd have Magic or just MAJ. So they'd call me Magic. And so it kind of stuck. And even now, obviously, the podcast is called Magic for Life. Our company, our personal development company is called Magic for Life. And so, the Lakers have been a team I've been a fan for through the good times and the bad times, and they've had some bad times, but through our second run with Kobe and Shaq and all of those guys, I started following Kobe from a long, long time ago, and honestly, it's been an interesting run to be able to watch him with different players, different teams, and learn about his view and his perspective, and those things that he did stuck with me. All the way from him winning the championships to his ridiculous loyalty to the Lakers. Um, some of his accolades really shined through and spoke those. I have here with me his book because, of course, right when it came out, I got it. If you don't have it, it's ridiculous. It's awesome. Although I don't know if you'll be able to get a copy of it at this point. It's being sold out everywhere. And it's called Kobe Bryant, The Mamba Mentality, How I Play. Anyway, so I thought just because we talk about emotions a lot, and we talk about a lot of things, and I'd love to address that because for those of you that are into that and he's one of your somebody you look up to, then great. And for those of you that don't, I've seen some posts and stuff going, oh, we don't honor our troops in the same way. A basketball player dies and everybody's all up in arms. And I just want to address that for a second. Uh, uh, One of my colleagues had a good point. It's not about whether or not we honor those troops one way or the other, but Kobe was in the public eye, and he made the best of being in the public eye. Because for those of you that don't understand about being a celebrity and being famous, their world is sort of, our world is sort of taken away from them. And many of the greats don't have a normal life anymore. And we do that to them. We take that world away from them by putting them in this celebrity light. And so for Colby to have done the things that he did and really excel at the things that he did was truly incredible. And he impacted a lot of people's lives. One of if you didn't know his impact on Japan, he was involved a lot, and you can go look it up. It's going to be all over with some support efforts and first aid once they were hit with some tsunamis and were devastated. And so Japan was hit quite strongly at the news of his death. He was only 41, and so for many of us, that's very sobering. This year, I turn 44, and I look at what he accomplished in his life and what he sacrificed to be able to accomplish that. And I understand for some of you, you might be saying that's just basketball, but it wasn't just basketball. His impact off the court was equally strong, and his mentality off the court was equally inspirational. And so, if you don't know about him, it's worth learning. If maybe today I'll be able to share some of the things that will inspire you to learn a little bit more about him. But like I said, I've been a Laker fan for life, and I will be forever, regardless of how they're placing. They're my team, and I think loyalty is huge. You look at this guy, and one of his records that isn't talked about that much is he had 20 seasons. He was devoted to the Lakers, the longest tenure by any guard with one team in NBA history. I mean, you're talking, that's serious loyalty. And in today's world, there seems to be a lack of that. I'm very blessed with a team and, um, you know, clients and students that are super loyal, and I've been blessed to have those people that are loyal to me in my world, and it's super important. I think there's a lack of loyalty these days with so many options and so many different choices for people. Everybody's looking for the answers outside of themselves, and loyalty, I think, starts within. It starts with being loyal to yourself and looking inside, and stop looking outside to the solution somewhere else. Somebody else is going to make it better. Some magic pill is going to make it better. Some magic thing is going to make it better. And really, the magic pill is your soul, and it's your ability to handle your emotions and be sad when it's appropriate to be sad, and feel like you can handle and manage your emotions is it's a challenge. It's a challenge sometimes. And even talking about this now, it's a little bit hard for me because I looked up to him. In fact, I've taught so much of the stuff that I've learned even from his book and from listening to his speeches on even YouTube. His motivational speeches are amazing. um, but let me share with you a little bit from the book, uh, and you guys can go out and get it. And honestly, this is literally just a little bit. I have my few notes that I have here that I wanted to share with you today. Um, in some of the early pages, he says, "My mental preparation varied based on my headspace." And so I just wanted to read a quick sentence from that. "The key, though, is being aware of how you're feeling and how you need to be feeling. It all starts with awareness." And I think that's the important part for those 9 people that were in the helicopter, the 8 others. Everybody's talking about Kobe. And for those other 8 people, they have families, they have relationships that they created and built. And there are people today that are devastated by their loss. And feeling that is fine. Feeling that devastation is important because they have to deal with that in their own way. When you have somebody like Kobe on board, it makes it so much more real because had that helicopter crashed and Kobe not been on that plane, the world would have looked past it. And it is important that he's a celebrity, and so we uh, amplify it and we talk about it and it hits the news press. But those other people on that plane were equally celebrities to their families and to the people that will miss them. And as we talk about emotions, and being aware, and Kobe was pointing out that it all starts with awareness, and feeling what you want to feel. And what I can tell you is it's not a matter of not feeling that way. It's a matter of understanding how to turn that on and really feel that way, really do it on purpose, and then learning the ability to turn it off, because today is today and yesterday is gone, and we can't get it back. We can't change it. And so that leaves us with what we have right now. That's it, what we have right now. And you just don't know. You just don't know. And that's, the common thread between all of this is everybody's talking about how we just don't know what our next day is. And the point of the matter is you have to gain some self-awareness. You have to gain some ability to feel how you'd like to, move on, and understand that you can continue to feel how you want to. You see, Kobe was an inspiration to so many of us, and he taught us through example. He was humbled through his mistakes because he had plenty because he was human, just like the rest of us. And a lot of people dogged him for the mistakes that he had in his life, but you know what? He owned it and he came to grips with it, and it was cool to watch him still overcome and still become a great man. Not that he wasn't before, but it's just watching that happen. So many times it's easy to crumble when you have your mistakes. Um, I wanted to talk a little bit about this next thing, and it's about greatness and family. He's saying, what I'm saying is greatness isn't easy to achieve. It requires a lot of time, a lot of sacrifices. It requires a lot of tough choices. It requires your loved ones to sacrifice too. So you have to have an understanding circle of family and friends. People don't always understand just how much effort from how many people goes into one person chasing a dream to be great. And this was true even for them that day. They were heading to a basketball tournament for his daughter. And there's a lot of sacrifice in that. And his family and his other daughters gave the ultimate sacrifice, because in their quest and search for what their journey was, what their personal legend was, they are ultimately going to have to come to grips with their passing. And so our families, they give a lot to be able to allow us to go after our dreams, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't chase after your personal legend. You find it and you search after it and you go at it with everything you have. I wanted to go straight to the Mamba mentality, because a lot of people are throwing it around and talking about it, and this page is literally titled the Mamba mentality, right? So you got that there, but says the Mamba mentality. Initially, I thought the phrase Mamba mentality was just a catchy hashtag that I'd start on Twitter, something witty and memorable, but it took off. It took off from there and came to symbolize much more. The mindset isn't about seeking a result. It's about the process of getting to that result. It's about the journey and the approach. It's a way of life. I do think it's important in all endeavors to have that mentality. Whether I hear an elite college or NBA player or Fortune 500 CEO reference the hashtag Mamba mentality, I find it very meaningful. When I see people talk about finding inspiration in it, it makes all of my hard work, all of the sweat, all of the 3 a.m. wake ups feel worth it. That's why I put together this book. All these pages incorporate lessons, not just lessons on basketball, but also on the Mamba mentality. It's about the journey. And honestly, he was doing what he loved. His daughter was doing what she loved. And it literally is about the journey. And you have to be able to look at what you're doing in your world. And I hope that in your world, you're surviving, you're making money, you're living a great life with your family. But you know what? It is about the journey. It's about what you're doing every day. And I wrote a whole book on it called Every Minute. It's about every minute. It's not about yesterday. And as sad as Kobe's passing is, it's not about yesterday. He's gone, and it's an unfortunate occurrence that happens to so many people and to so many around the world, that their life is ended short. But we don't know. It's not our judgment to decide whether it was short or not. He affected so many people while he was alive, and he will now continue to affect us now that he's passed. And for so many of us, it kind of hammers home how important it is to live each day to its fullest, and to be able to get as much out of every minute as you possibly can. And so you should look up some more on the Mamba mentality. That's just a teeny little piece on it. We talk about emotions a lot. So of course I'm going to pull it back to that, because the mentality was huge. So he had this one piece in the book that says, the game is full of ebbs and flows, the good, the bad, and everything in between. With all that was going on around me, I had to figure out how to still my mind and keep calm and centered. That's not to say my emotions didn't spike or drop here or there, but I was aware enough to recalibrate and bring them back level before things spiraled. I could do that in a way others couldn't, and that was really the key for me. And honestly, that's what we're striving for. That's what we teach at Magic for Life. That's what we are trying to help everybody understand, that you can take back control and calibrate. It's not to say that you can't have spikes up and down. It's not to say that you may not be perfect at it all the time. But being able to gain control, that's really the essence of why Kobe was a champion. It was that last sentence. I could do that in a way others couldn't. And that was really key for me. That was huge. And you being able to do that is huge. So we need to learn from his example. We need to learn from those things and understand that he had millions of lessons in basketball. He understood the ups and the downs, and he understood the game so well. And yet, one of his defining features was that he could actually manage, control, and execute his emotions on a different level than those around him. And that's saying a lot, because there were some pretty amazing people around him. And if you happen to ever read this book, you'll see that he talks about them. He talks about their strengths and what they added and what they all brought to the team. And Kobe had a sick work ethic. He decided he'd practice more than everybody else, so he added a whole extra practice into his day above and beyond everybody else, so that he could get more time in and improve at a faster rate than everybody else. And so he sacrificed and he put the time in. I just wanted to finish off. I mean, there's so much more we could talk about. I mean, I could talk about him for days. He's ridiculous. But I thought I'd finish with just some of his stats for those of you that don't know about Kobe and what he did. And this is only just a small piece. This is his basketball legacy. He has a massive legacy besides that. He was until Friday night, until Friday night's game, or maybe it was Saturday night's game. He was the third all-time leading scorer behind Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Karl Malone. He scored 33,643 points, so he was third on the all-time scorers. And LeBron passed him the other night, which he quickly tweeted and congratulated LeBron. And 81 is the next number. It was the second most points ever scored in an NBA game, and the most since the three-point line was introduced to the league in 1979. He scored 81 points in one game, and it was ridiculous. I remember the game specifically. He was 37 years old when he scored 60 points in his final NBA game, the most by any player in the 2015-2016 season. As we mentioned earlier, he was devoted to the Lakers through and through. It was the longest tenure by any guard with one team in NBA with 20 seasons. He was 18 years old when he made his first NBA start. When Kobe became the youngest player to win the NBA Slam Dunk contest, he was 18, and when he also was the youngest player to ever score in a playoff game. He went straight from high school into the NBA. He won 5 championships, including the three-peat of the 2000, 2001, and 2002 three-peat. And then he followed it up later by coming back and getting another 2 championships in 2009 and 2010. He had 2 numbers. He was number 8 and number 24. And for me, it's literally the only jersey I own. I'm not much of a go buy jerseys kind of person, but I do own a Kobe Bryant number 24 jersey. He got the scoring title 2 years in a row, and he had 2 gold medals from the Olympics, from being part of that team. So, those are just his basketball legacies. He really had a massive impact off the court to so many people. And for those of you that haven't looked, you'll see a number of things all over the internet to see the impact that he's had. To those families that were on the helicopter, or of the people that were on that helicopter that crashed, it's unthinkable. And my prayers go out to you. You will be stronger when you come out of this, and use that Mamba mentality to help you get through it, because that's what it's there for. It's there for you to be able to have something that you can attach to and be strong with, because he was living every day. He was living every minute, and he was taking it strong every single minute. He didn't take anything for granted. And so you have to do the same. And for all of you out there that are fans, it's one thing to cry and be sad about it, and that's great, and do your thing. You do you, as they say. But it's another thing to forget about it in a few days and move right along. Go learn something from him. Take one of the things that he had to teach, any of them, and make it real in your world, make it real in your life, make it mean something. And realize that there are a lot of great people in this world, and there are a lot of great people that have passed in this world, and we've got to learn from them and do something better. Do something better as we move forward. So for all of us that are left here with the Mamba mentality and trying to move forward, don't forget to live every minute, every single minute. Today, right now, is the most important thing. You are not who you were yesterday, and you can choose and decide who you're going to become for tomorrow. So with that, blessings and prayers for that family and all of those families. And don't forget to live every minute. We'll see you next time.
Happiness is a choice. Sadness is a choice. All emotions are a choice. Sometimes doing our emotions doesn't seem like it's our choice, but it is. You have control. You are the captain of your ship, and you must learn how to be the best captain you can be. Let me show you how. Pick up your free copy of my new book, Every Minute, at everyminutebook.com.